We're diving into the world of hidden treasures as we explore the four most expensive and ultra-rare U.S. 5-cent Monticello Jefferson nickel coins. At first glance, they may seem like ordinary nickels, but some of these coins are worth thousands or even millions of dollars today. So before you spend that old nickel, stick around, because you might just be holding a fortune in your hands. First up, the 1943 Jefferson nickel with the S mint mark is one of the most fascinating coins in American history because it was struck during the turbulence of World War II, when the very metals used in coinage were changed to serve the needs of the nation. Unlike the typical nickels of earlier years that contained mostly copper and nickel, the 1943 S was part of what collectors today call the Silver War nickels, composed of an alloy that included 35% silver. This alteration was not cosmetic. It was a direct result of the U.S. government diverting nickel metal to war production for weapons, tanks, and military machinery. What was left in circulation was a coin that looked like a simple 5-cent piece, but carried within it the value of silver, the weight of history, and today, the possibility of unimaginable fortune. From the moment these coins were minted in San Francisco, the S mark became an anchor of rarity and prestige. The San Francisco Mint produced far fewer Jefferson nickels than its Philadelphia or Denver counterparts, making the 1943 S a standout piece even in its own time. Millions were struck, but compared to other mint runs, their numbers were smaller, and their survival rate in pristine condition was even lower. Over the decades, as coins wore down, were lost or melted for their silver content, the 1943 S Jefferson nickel became rarer and rarer. Today, in certain extraordinary conditions or with unusual characteristics, such as surfaces described as silver sticker varieties, this coin has become one of the most valuable 5-cent pieces ever made. The design itself, while familiar, takes on new meaning in this year. On the obverse sits Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, his face calm and steady in profile. Behind him is not just a likeness, but the representation of a man who authored the Declaration of Independence and shaped the foundation of a nation. On the reverse, Monticello, his Virginia estate, is beautifully detailed, symbolizing ideals of independence, knowledge, and perseverance. While Jefferson's image is common on coins, in 1943 it carried a hidden story of war, a coin that looked ordinary but was in truth extraordinary because of its altered composition. For collectors, the condition of a 1943 S. Jefferson nickel is everything. While most of these coins circulated heavily during and after the war, some managed to survive in astonishing states of preservation. These rare, uncirculated examples shimmer with luster, their silver content reflecting light differently from traditional nickels. In recent years, coins described as having sticker-like qualities, where the surfaces shine as if coated in a fine silver sheen, have drawn the attention of collectors and investors alike. Such unique coins are no longer just small pieces of money, but treasures capable of commanding staggering sums at auction. Yet the magic of the 1943 S nickel lies in the fact that even coins in worn or dirty condition can hold immense value. Because of the rarity of certain die varieties, strike anomalies, and unusual preservation, collectors are willing to pay incredible amounts even for examples that appear ordinary at first glance. This is where fortune hides in plain sight. A coin you might dismiss as pocket change could, in reality, be a $1 million rarity. Imagine holding a nickel in your palm, one that might have been spent on a wartime ration, now transformed into a treasure with the power to change your destiny overnight. Auction houses have provided some of the most dramatic stories of the 1943 S nickel's rise in value. When rare varieties or especially pristine examples are offered, bidding wars erupt. Prices climb higher and higher as passionate collectors vie for ownership. These coins, once struck for the most practical of purposes, now compete with fine art and rare gems for attention and value. Each time one appears, it writes a new chapter in numismatic history, reminding us of the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. The San Francisco Mint, with its storied history, adds an additional layer of allure. Coins from this mint have always been prized for their smaller production runs and distinctive S mark. The 1943 S nickel is no exception. It represents not only a key year in Jefferson nickel history, but also a tangible connection to America's wartime struggles and sacrifices. Holding one is like holding a fragment of the 1940s, a reminder of the resilience of both the people and the currency that carried them through uncertain times. Symbolically, this coin stands as proof that necessity often produces greatness. By removing nickel from the alloy, the mint inadvertently created one of the most collectible series in U.S. coinage. What was meant as a practical solution to a wartime problem has now become a legacy of rarity and beauty. The 1943 S. Jefferson nickel symbolizes sacrifice, transformation, and hidden potential, all embodied in a piece of metal small enough to slip into your pocket. The rarity of the coin also speaks to luck and timing. Not every collector will ever encounter a 1943 S in extraordinary condition, but for those who do, it becomes a life-altering find. There are stories of families discovering them in old jars, estate sales, or coin rolls from banks. The thrill of realizing that something so small and overlooked could be worth millions is unparalleled. It is the essence of treasure hunting, condensed into a 5-cent coin. Owning such a coin requires more than luck. It requires knowledge and care. Those who stumble upon a 1943 S. Jefferson nickel with unusual qualities must resist the urge to treat it as ordinary. To spend it or sell it too cheaply would be to lose a fortune. Instead, these coins must be studied, authenticated, and appreciated for the marvels they are. They are more than metal. They are history, wealth, and opportunity fused together. The coin's value is not just financial, but symbolic. It tells the story of America's resilience, its ability to adapt, and the hidden treasures that lie beneath the surface of everyday life. It is a reminder that fortune favors those who look closer, who see beyond appearances. In the 1943 S nickel, the world sees not just a coin but a key that unlocks history and the possibility of unimaginable wealth. Ultimately, the 1943 S. Jefferson nickel is one of the most valuable and expensive 5-cent coins ever struck, not because of its denomination, but because of its story. Born in war, transformed by necessity, and preserved by chance, it carries with it the power to change lives overnight. Whether shimmering in pristine brilliance or dulled by decades of circulation, it is a treasure waiting to be recognized. And for those lucky enough to possess one, it is not just a nickel, it is destiny in the palm of their hand. Next up, the 1967 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark holds a very special and mysterious place in the vast history of American coinage. At first glance, it seems like just another 5-cent piece, ordinary and unassuming, but in reality, the story behind it is filled with rarity, hidden value, and historical significance. This was a period when the United States Mint had removed mint marks entirely from coins as a response to a national coin shortage, meaning that no coin in circulation from this year carries a familiar P, D, or S. The result was an unusual era in numismatics, where coins like the 1967 Jefferson nickel became markers of a unique policy shift, making them fascinating collectors. What makes this coin even more captivating is the idea of rare silver sticker appearances or unusual luster on certain examples, making them stand out dramatically and placing them in a category of unimaginable value today. The Jefferson nickel series, first issued in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag and remained largely unchanged until the 2000s. The obverse proudly displays Thomas Jefferson's profile, the nation's third president and one of its most influential founding fathers. The reverse depicts Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, with its neoclassical architecture etched into the surface of the coin. By 1967, Americans were already very familiar with the design, but what they didn't realize was that these particular coins were part of a moment in history when mint marks disappeared, and unusual varieties began slipping into circulation. This adds layers of intrigue, as each surviving 1967 nickel becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a relic of a turbulent time in coin production. The year 1967 was a turning point for American coinage. In the mid-1960s, the nation faced a widespread coin shortage. Rising silver prices and public hoarding of older silver coins forced the government to make drastic changes. The Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, reduced silver content in half dollars, and temporarily removed mint marks from all coins, including nickels. The idea was to discourage collectors from targeting certain mints, ensuring that coins could circulate more freely. But in doing so, the mint accidentally created a new generation of coins, like the 1967 Jefferson nickel, that would later become treasured by collectors for their unique historical context. While most 1967 Jefferson nickels were struck in the usual copper-nickel alloy, some examples developed unusual finishes, tones, or errors that made them extraordinary. Collectors often describe coins from this era with rare surfaces as having a silver sticker shine, almost as though they were plated or given a reflective, mirror quality. Whether through planchet variations, striking pressure, or environmental preservation, these rare nickels are unlike the millions of ordinary ones. When such a coin is discovered today, it commands enormous attention, as its appearance separates it from the vast sea of standard strikes. Condition plays an enormous role in determining the value of any coin, but it is particularly critical for the 1967 Jefferson nickel. Circulated examples, worn from years of pocket use, may seem common, yet even these can sometimes reveal rare characteristics that elevate their worth. On the other hand, uncirculated or high-grade specimens, especially those with full steps visible on Monticello, are incredibly scarce. Such details show how sharply the coin was struck and are treasured by collectors. Combine pristine condition with unique silver sticker qualities, and you have a nickel that transcends its 5-cent denomination and enters the realm of life-changing fortune. What makes the 1967 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel truly thrilling is the idea that it might be hiding in plain sight. Old coin jars, forgotten rolls from banks, or inherited collections could contain one of these treasures without anyone realizing it. Stories abound of collectors discovering rare varieties or unusually brilliant examples tucked away in ordinary places. The thought that an overlooked nickel could transform into a coin worth millions in today's market captures the imagination and keeps collectors searching tirelessly. It is this sense of hidden fortune that makes the 1967 nickel so enticing. Auction history reinforces this excitement. While many 1967 Jefferson nickels sell modestly, the rarest and most unique examples, those with exceptional surfaces, conditions, or error varieties, have sparked bidding wars. Collectors understand the rarity, and when such a coin is authenticated, prices can skyrocket. In these moments, the humble nickel is elevated to the level of fine art or ancient relics, commanding respect and astonishing valuations. To witness an ordinary coin suddenly claim $1 million price tag is to see the true power of numismatics. The decision to remove mint marks in the mid-1960s was meant to solve a problem, but inadvertently created a legacy of coins with mystery and allure. The 1967 Jefferson nickel stands as one of the greatest examples of this phenomenon. The absence of a mint mark itself makes the coin distinct, while the possibility of unusual luster or silver-like surfaces makes certain examples unbelievably rare. Every detail of this coin, from Jefferson's gaze to the steps of Monticello, tells a story of a country balancing history, change, and necessity. Symbolically, this coin also reflects Jefferson's ideals: innovation, adaptation, and resilience. Just as Jefferson believed in experimentation and progress, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with composition, policy, and production during this time. The 1967 nickel embodies that spirit of transition, reminding us that even small and simple objects can carry powerful stories of change. It is both a piece of money and a monument to the adaptability of a nation under pressure. The allure of the 1967 Jefferson nickel lies in its dual nature, common yet potentially priceless. Millions were struck, but only a handful of exceptional examples exist with the qualities that collectors dream of. That contrast, the possibility of fortune hidden within something so ordinary, is what makes it one of the most exciting coins to collect. For those who stumble upon one, it is like holding a piece of destiny, small in size yet vast in possibility. For collectors today, the message is clear. Never underestimate the power of history hidden in coins. A simple nickel, bearing no mint mark, minted during a strange and turbulent year, could be the key to wealth beyond imagination. It might appear dirty, worn, or plain, but within it lies a story of war, policy, and transformation. And in the right conditions, its value can leap from 5 cents to millions overnight, making it one of the most valuable and expensive Jefferson nickels of all time. Ultimately, The 1967 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is more than a coin. It is a mystery, a treasure, and a chance at fortune. Its value is not only in the silver-like qualities that rare examples display, but in the story it tells about America, about adaptation in times of challenge, and about hidden greatness within the ordinary. For anyone lucky enough to hold one, it is not merely pocket change. It is history, wealth, and destiny, all captured in a small, shining piece of metal. Next up, the 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is one of those coins that often slips unnoticed to the hands of millions. Yet beneath its ordinary surface lies the potential for unimaginable fortune. It was struck during a time of immense transition in American coinage history, when the nation was facing a crisis caused by rising silver prices and a growing shortage of coins in circulation. The year 1964 marked the last time the U.S. Mint struck coins with dates in silver alloy for dimes, quarters, and half dollars, but the Jefferson nickel remained in its familiar copper-nickel composition. Even so, the enormous number of 1,964 nickels produced, billions in total, masked the fact that certain examples, especially those without a mint mark and showing unique surfaces that collectors sometimes call silver sticker qualities, would eventually rise to a level of incredible rarity and value. Today, these coins are whispered about among numismatists as treasures with the power to turn their finder into a millionaire overnight. The absence of a mint mark on a 1964 nickel might seem trivial, but it carries powerful meaning. In that year, coins produced in Philadelphia did not bear any mint mark, distinguishing them subtly from their Denver counterparts. Yet because so many were minted, collectors tend to pass them over, assuming they are ordinary. What changes the story completely is when one of these nickels reveals exceptional characteristics: deep reflective surfaces, unique toning, or sharp, full steps on Monticello. These details transform what appears to be pocket change into a numismatic masterpiece. It is in these details that the coin's true wealth lies, hiding fortune in plain sight. The design itself is a lasting tribute to Thomas Jefferson, America's third president and the visionary behind the Declaration of Independence. His profile gazes forward on the obverse, while his Monticello estate rests firmly on the reverse, anchoring the coin in history and symbolism. But in 1964, that design took on added importance. The sheer number of nickels minted that year was staggering, more than any year before, in an effort to meet the coin shortage. Because of this, pristine examples became harder to find over time, buried beneath a flood of ordinary strikes. That paradox, massive production paired with extreme scarcity of high-quality survivors, is part of what makes the 1964 nickel so compelling. The economic climate of the mid-1960s adds another layer to this coin story. The price of silver had skyrocketed, leading the public to hoard older silver dimes, quarters, and half dollars. The U.S. Mint responded by increasing production of base metal coins like the nickel to keep commerce flowing. As a result, the 1964 nickel became the workhorse of its time, a coin meant to serve everyday transactions while the country adjusted to a new monetary reality. What the Mint could not have predicted was that collectors, decades later, would look back on this coin and uncover versions of it that were unlike any others. Coins with surfaces that shone like silver, with features so sharp they seemed to defy the massive minting numbers. Condition is a key to unlocking the value of any 1964 Jefferson nickel. Coins that survive without heavy wear, maintaining their original luster and detail, are exceedingly rare. Collectors seek out those with full steps on Monticello, where the staircase leading up to Jefferson's home is completely visible, as such examples prove the coin was struck with unusual precision. Pair that with a reflective, silvery sheen on the surface, what some call the silver sticker quality, and you have a coin unlike any other. In today's market, these exceptional pieces can command prices in the thousands or even millions, depending on the combination of features. The story of discovery is what makes this coin so exciting. Imagine rummaging through a box of old coins inherited from a relative, or searching through rolls from the bank, only to find a 1964 nickel that looks slightly different, shinier, almost as if it carries a hidden glow. What may at first appear to be ordinary pocket change could in fact be the key to a life-changing fortune. This sense of hidden treasure is what drives collectors and treasure hunters alike to keep searching, for the knowledge that wealth beyond imagination might be waiting in the most unexpected places. Auction houses have provided thrilling evidence of the 1964 nickel's rise to prominence. When rare varieties or top-graded examples appear, collectors compete fiercely, driving prices to staggering heights. Each time, the humble 5-cent piece proves itself to be far more than its denomination suggests. The drama of these auctions reinforces the idea that coins are not just money. They are history, art, and fortune combined into one small, tangible object. The 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel has become one of the most striking examples of this truth. Symbolically, this coin represents a nation in transition. It reminds us of a time when economic pressure forced innovation, when silver disappeared from coinage, and when billions of nickels poured into circulation to keep the economy moving. Yet within that flood of coins, a few rare examples stood out, destined to become treasures for future generations. The coin story mirrored Jefferson's own legacy, resilience, vision, and the power to create lasting change from turbulent times. The fascination with the 1964 nickel also stems from its contradiction. How can a coin produced in such massive numbers be so rare and valuable today? The answer lies in the delicate balance of survival, condition, and unique qualities. Most of the billions minted have been worn down, lost, or overlooked. Only a fraction remain in pristine states, and even fewer display the unusual luster or striking detail that makes them truly priceless. It is this tension, common yet rare, ordinary yet extraordinary, that makes the 1964 nickel so captivating. For collectors, the coin is both a challenge and a reward. The challenge is to find one in extraordinary condition, perhaps hiding among piles of change or in old coin rolls. The reward, however, is the possibility of holding in one's hand a coin worth millions, a coin that could alter the course of life overnight. This dream fuels a hunt, turning every ordinary nickel into a potential fortune. The 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel is, at its core, a symbol of hidden greatness. It teaches us that history often leaves treasures in the most unlikely of places, and that fortune sometimes disguises itself in the plainest of forms. Every time one is discovered, it tells the world that even in the smallest details, immense value can be found. This is the enduring magic of coin collecting and the timeless allure of the Jefferson nickel. Ultimately, the 1964 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel is not merely a 5-cent piece. It is a story, a relic, and a treasure. It embodies a moment in history, carries the ideals of Jefferson, and offers a chance of unimaginable wealth to those fortunate enough to find one. Whether it gleams with silver-like shine or bears the crisp details of Monticello's steps, it is a coin with the power to change fortunes overnight. And in the world of numismatics, it will forever remain one of the most valuable and expensive nickels ever struck, proof that even the smallest coin can hold the greatest secrets. Next up, the 1963 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is one of those rare coins that, at first glance, might seem like nothing more than an ordinary piece of pocket change. Struck in Philadelphia during the early 1960s, these nickels carried the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his Monticello home on the back, continuing tradition that had been in place since 1938. Yet hidden among the countless millions produced are coins with qualities so unusual and breathtaking that they stand apart as some of the most valuable nickels in American history. Collectors speak of examples that shine with a silvery glow, nicknamed silver sticker nickels, which, despite being made of copper and nickel, carry a brilliance that sets them apart and pushes their value into the realm of millions in today's market. The year 1963 was a transitional one for America. The nation was entering a decade defined by change, innovation, and turbulence, and its coinage reflected both stability and tradition. The Jefferson nickel was a constant presence in everyday life, circulating widely across the country, a coin that people rarely thought twice about. Yet, in the world of numismatics, 1963 would eventually become a year of significance, as certain Philadelphia-struck nickels without a mint mark will reveal extraordinary qualities that transform them into treasures capable of rewriting a person's fortune overnight. Design plays a vital role in the appeal of this coin. The obverse features Thomas Jefferson, the visionary president, statesman, and writer of the Declaration of Independence, captured in a dignified profile. On the reverse, Monticello, his Virginia estate, appears with architectural detail that collectors examine closely. The staircase leading to the building, known as the Steps, became one of the most sought-after features of the Jefferson Nickel series. Coins from 1963 that exhibit these full steps in perfect detail are not only incredibly scarce, but also command astonishing premiums at auction. The absence of a mint mark is crucial to the identity of this coin. Philadelphia, the birthplace of American coinage, traditionally struck coins without mint marks during this era, giving them a subtle uniqueness. While Denver coins bore the letter D, Philadelphia coins remained unmarked, which means the 1963 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel carries with it a silent symbol of heritage. What elevates certain examples to legendary status are the unusual characteristics some display, an almost silver-like surface, proof-like qualities, or extraordinary sharpness of strike. These features set them apart as masterpieces hidden within a sea of ordinary nickels. Condition, as always, defines value. Most 1963 nickels circulated heavily, carrying scratches, dirt, and wear from decades of use. These are common and often overlooked. Yet on the rare occasion when a pristine specimen surfaces, untouched by circulation, glowing with luster and bearing full-step details, it becomes a prize worthy of envy. Combine that with a mysterious silver sticker effect, where the coin surface radiates a brilliant glow, and you have a piece so rare that its worth defies comprehension. Such coins are not just valued in the thousands, but in millions, a fortune waiting to be discovered by anyone fortunate enough to recognize their hidden power. The thrill of discovery is part of this coin's magic. Imagine someone sorting through an old box of coins in the attic, passed down from grandparents, only to stumble upon a 1963 nickel that shines differently, its surface brighter and sharper than all the rest. At first, it might appear ordinary, but with closer inspection, it reveals the traits of a true rarity. In that moment, what was once seen as a simple 5-cent coin transforms into a key that could unlock wealth beyond imagination. Auction houses have confirmed the electrifying potential of the 1963 Jefferson nickel. When rare examples of extraordinary qualities appear for bidding, they ignite fierce competition among collectors. Bidders, driven by the chance to secure a piece of numismatic legend, push prices higher and higher, proving that even a coin minted in the billions can achieve the status of a priceless artifact. The hammer falls, and what was once a humble nickel becomes a treasure valued alongside fine art and historic relics. Symbolically, the 1963 Jefferson nickel represents hidden greatness. Just as Jefferson himself rose from humble beginnings to become one of America's most influential figures, this coin, too, has the power to rise from obscurity into prominence. It embodies the possibility that the smallest and most ordinary objects can hold within them unimaginable power, a message that resonates with anyone who dreams of fortune and destiny. The paradox of this coin lies in its rarity amidst abundance. Billions of nickels were minted in 1963, yet only a tiny handful carry the traits that make them valuable. This contradiction, common in production yet rare in perfection, fuels the fascination and allure of the coin. Collectors know that while most 1963 nickels are worth little more than their face value, the rare gems hiding among them could be life-changing discoveries. For coin collectors and treasure hunters alike, the 1963 Jefferson nickel serves as both a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge lies in identifying the few extraordinary specimens that exist, those with the perfect strike, full steps, or silver-like surfaces. The opportunity lies in the reward. The chance to hold in one's hand a coin worth millions, a coin that can change a life overnight. This duality is what makes the pursuit so thrilling. In the larger story of American coinage, the 1963 nickel reminds us that fortune is not always found in the obvious places. It teaches us to look closer, to pay attention to details, and to appreciate the artistry and history carried in even the smallest objects. Every 1963 Jefferson nickel is a piece of history, but some are treasures that hold the promise of unimaginable wealth. Ultimately, the 1963 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is not just a coin. It is a story of possibility, rarity, and destiny. It is a reminder that the most ordinary things can conceal extraordinary secrets, and that sometimes fortune lies waiting in the palm of your hand. Whether discovered in a dusty coin jar or sold under the bright lights of an auction, this nickel remains one of the most valuable and expensive 5-cent pieces in U.S. history, a timeless testament to the idea that greatness can come from the most unexpected of places.